Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Ring Chasers podcast.
Let's go.
We are on episode 6, I think, maybe.
More than that, maybe.
Six sounds around-ish, right? But we're
I
back.
don't know.
It's been a while since the last ep, but now the conference finals have wrapped up, and we're here to recap them for you. We got some awards coming out, and we got a little finals preview. Game 1 of the finals coming tonight. Who's going to be in it? Let's find out. But first, man, Sam, Big Fuzz, how you doing today?
I'm chilling. How about you, Crusher Cans?
I am wonderful. Lovely day. We're now in June, and the weather is finally nice outside. No more rain, hopefully, please.
You know what flight says? It's June.
It's June. Shall we get into it?
I think so. I'll kick it off with the Western Conference Finals. Golden State Warriors and the Dallas Mavericks. Game 1. With a 112-87 win for Golden State. Blowout.
Yup.
Golden State had 7 players out there with double digits. Like, Steph was leading score with 21, but he also had 12 boards, which for Steph, that's nice. That's nice. Yeah, JP and Wiggins both having 19. Man, Wiggins was good this series.
Wiggins really played well this series.
Yeah, 10 apiece from Draymond and Looney and Porter.
Another guy who played well this series, Looney.
Yeah.
Kayvon Looney.
Kevon Looney.
Yeah, Kayvon.
And yeah, 15 from Klay Thompson. So solid game for the Warriors there. And here's where it gets a little rough. Luka Doncic has 20 only on 6 of 18 shooting.
Yeah.
That's probably the worst game of the playoffs so far for Luka.
Definitely the worst game.
And you had 14 from Brunson on 6 of 16. Not that much better.
Nope.
Maybe worse.
It's actually worse, yeah. I'd say it's worse because it's less points.
Yeah, true. 12 from Bullock and 17 from Dinwiddie. I mean, those are solid games from those two guys, but yeah. I mean, the Warriors held a small lead in the first half, but then, like, as Warriors do in the third, fourth quarter, they just take off and just leave other teams in the dust. They shot 20% better from the field, almost 12% better from three. It kind of is what Golden State does and what they've been known to do the last few years, minus like when they've been hurt. And they also just dominated the boards like a lot this series, but in this game it was 51-35.
Oh my god.
That's
Well, I
crazy.
mean, Dallas is a really small team though, like size wise.
At least the players they play.
Yeah, the players they play. Boban. The GOAT.
Yeah, so that's pretty much wrapping up game 1 there. On to game 2. It was a 126-117 win for Golden State. Once again, taking a 2-0 lead on the series.
Ooh.
Win both games in San Francisco.
That's good to keep your home court.
Oh, you got to.
Yeah.
And this game, Steph Curry, 32. Great game. Look at Curry, man.
Look at Curry. So inspirational out there.
Exactly. And you got 23 from JP, and this is a big one. 21 points and 12 boards from Kevon Looney.
Kayvon Looney.
What a guy.
This guy, he stepped up big this series. I know, like, he's the biggest guy on the court most of the time.
I mean, he's only 6'9", I think.
Still probably the biggest guy on the court. Because Dwight Powell never gets
6'10". He
Dwight Powell
starts.
gets like 6 minutes a game though.
He starts.
Yeah, but he gets 6 minutes a game though.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he just gobbled up rebounds this series.
What about Bielishka?
No.
Next question.
Next question. Moving on.
Yeah, so you got 16 from Wiggs as well and 15 from Clay, making some good supporting games to Steph and Poole and Looney. Yeah, 11 from Otto Porter as well, which, like, man, he's a guy, he was an underrated signing this offseason.
Yeah.
They signed him for the vet minimum, and he's been one of the best guys off the bench this year.
Yeah,
Like,
he's been extremely consistent. Another
They
guy
pulled
who-
him and Gary Payton out of nowhere, and they've both just done great, like,
Porter-
contributions to the team.
Porter's another guy who can just kind of space the floor for you.
And he's
And
3D.
Yeah, and he adds more defense to that
Yeah.
Warriors defense that's already really good.
Then here for Dallas, I mean, can't really blame these three guys. Luka had 42. I mean,
Ooh.
Luka just does that though.
He does just do that. That's
Yeah,
just
31
Luka
from
things.
31 from Brunson too. Like he's had a really good playoff. Like he's been one of the guys that stepped up the most in the playoffs this year. Him and Luka.
Yeah, for sure.
And he also had 21 from Reggie Bullock with 6 threes.
That's a nice game from
It's a
him.
great game for him. And Dallas actually led most of the game, and we're up 19 at one point, like early on, like in the second quarter and into halftime.
Mm-hmm.
But then Golden State just took over at once again, end of the third quarter, and in the fourth quarter, and they shot like 10% better in the field and had 13 boards on Dallas. Like that's
Mm-hmm.
that's what you gotta do to win.
Yeah, I mean,
There's
you
been a-
dominate the glass and you shoot better from the floor. It's a recipe to win a basketball game.
To me, it feels like it's happened more this year than in the playoffs where there's been a big lead and other teams have come back. And feels like it happened a lot this year.
Yeah, there's just been big leads this playoffs. Like not
this
just
is the-
not just teams coming back, but like just in general.
This is a playoff of blowouts for sure.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Moving on to Game 3, one that's not really as much of a blowout. 109-100. Golden State wins the first game in Dallas, going up 3-0.
Mm-hmm.
This game's huge because, like, I mean, if Dallas wins this game, it's a series.
Yeah,
Even if you win the next one, it's 3-1. That's been done before.
yeah,
This is like for Golden State. This was a must-win game to clinch the series, and they won it. And it was behind a 31-point and 11 assist game from Steph Curry, and a very underrated performance of 27 and 11 boards from Wiggins.
Well,
Wiggins was in the second half of the game.
Yeah.
Wiggins was the best player on the floor.
yeah, he stepped up in the second half, and especially in the fourth quarter, he looked really good out there.
We'll talk about a certain play in a little bit. He also got 19 points from Clay. He got 10 each from Draymond and Poole. I mean, Draymond's been in double digits almost every game in the series.
Yeah, Dre's scoring really stepped
In
up
this whole playoff,
these
even.
playoffs. Yeah, he's been
Yeah.
dishing
good.
a little
He's
more.
been good.
Yeah,
I mean, Luka did what he could. He had 40 and 11 boards. Like
it's just Luka things.
Luka things. 26 for Dinwiddie and 20 for Brunson. I mean, after a great game from Bullock, he had 0 points on 0 of 10 shooting.
Yeah, and it was 0-7 from 3 as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the thing I might bring this up after, but the thing I'm noticing so far from this series, it's what's different from the Suns series is you're not seeing names like Bertans or, well, you saw Bullock before, but Dorian Finney-Smith, for example. You're not seeing like a different guy get hot every game. It's the
Yeah.
same 3 and that's it. They're fine
Yeah.
with that. And you're not seeing the other guys get hot, like have Dorian Finney-Smith have 18 in one game and then Bertans have 15 the next game. You're not seeing that, and whereas the Suns weren't able to shut down those other guys, the Warriors are doing that so far this series.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, you're up 3-0, you're probably going to win the series.
Yeah.
So, I mean, they were just doing that to
Yeah,
neutralize
exactly.
Dallas's
For
three-point
Golden
shooting.
State, it's not just what you'd expect. It's not just Steph, Clay, Poole going off. You have Wiggins stepping up. You have Otto Porter playing well. You have Draymond playing well. Like
Mhm.
you have everyone connecting, and that's what a championship team needs, and that's what you're seeing out east as well.
Yeah.
I mean,
No spoilies.
I'm just saying there's a
I
team.
haven't- I haven't done the East yet.
I'm just saying there's a team in the East out there that's played pretty well.
There's
As
two
a team.
There's 2 teams in the East that played pretty well. They're both in the Eastern Conference Finals right now.
One of them moved on though.
No
I-
way, really?
Yeah.
That's
So,
crazy.
We were already talking about Wiggins' amazing fourth quarter, but man, that dunk
Oh,
on Luka. I mean,
Luka, baby.
the fact that the refs tried to take that from him and called it an offensive foul, that was a foul on Luka, if anything.
Yeah, I mean,
I
you
don't.
can't challenge it to turn it into an offensive foul, but
No.
it was, or sorry, a defensive foul.
I don't.
But
I
it was
don't.
a defensive
I don't
foul.
think it was. I wouldn't have called it a foul. I just said poster, call it there. But if you're calling anything, it's a defensive foul. Not
Oh,
an offensive
yeah.
Foul.
I don't even know how they thought it was an offensive foul.
Because Luka sold it. Luka made it look
Luka
like
did flop a little bit.
Luka leaned back when Wiggins, like he got hit in the face, but Wiggins' hand was like on his chest
Yeah.
or his forearm or whatever. But that's not a foul.
No, Luka's also one of those guys that likes
Yeah,
to sell calls.
Yeah. I mean, the game was actually really close. Like Golden State had a steady lead from the end of the third on, and that's pretty much just what carried them to the win there. And I mean, there was a couple runs here and there, but Wiggins kind of shut that up.
Yeah, he popped up in the fourth quarter. Do you have what he scored in the fourth quarter?
I don't know exactly what he had, but I believe it was like 10, 12 points in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, that's really good for a guy who.
That's good for anyone, really.
Yeah, but especially for Wiggins, who you haven't seen a lot of him just kind of go in to get a bucket.
Yeah.
He's more been like a third, fourth option, which you expect with this Warriors team with a bunch
That's
of
that's the
scorers.
great thing about having Wiggins. Like, I think it's gotten to the point where no one expects him to be that number 1 pick anymore.
Yeah.
But he
He's
has games.
still a really good player.
He has games where he can. You even saw flashes of that when he was in Minnesota. Like, he can take over a game.
Maple
sometimes.
Jordan, baby.
Shut up.
Maple
But
Jordan.
he can take over a game, but I don't know if it's just he's not comfortable doing it or what. But
he doesn't.
In Golden State, he seems way happier and way more comfortable being that third, fourth guy. Being where not all the eyes and pressures on him. But if the team's struggling and you need a bucket, he'll go and get that bucket for you.
Yeah, he's a guy who you can say, "Go get me a bucket," and he'll get you 4 or 5.
His defense, though.
His defense was amazing.
He was one of the best this year.
Or this year.
I think he's one of the best two-way players in the league this year.
Yeah, he's definitely up there.
For sure. I mean,
and people are saying you shouldn't be an all-star.
He's an all-star. He shouldn't have been a starter, but that's because of the position lock. There's not another forward in the West that deserved it more, but there's guards that deserved it more.
Facts.
Yeah. All right, well, carrying on.
Moving on.
The Warriors shot just better overall, like in all areas, and they had 14 more rebounds. It's a trend this series. But this is bad news for Golden State. Otto Porter limped off the floor in the second quarter. Now they're without Gary Payton and Otto Porter, which that's tough. Those are two of their bench guys that play really good defense and bring some points off the bench.
Yeah, the two guys that play some big minutes for them off the bench. It kind of forces Steve Kerr to have to play his rookies a little more. Especially Moody.
I mean, Moody had a really solid playoff.
Yeah, Moody's been playing well. It's just like
Kuminga's had a really good year too, but
he would rather have those established guys.
Yeah,
I don't know if GP2's established, but GP2 has shown
he's been more of a rotation player this
year.
Yeah. He's been steadily in the rotation since game
but
1.
This is where you like how Steve Kerr plays everybody during the season.
Yeah. Like, really the only guy I don't see, like, every game is Quinndary Weatherspoon. I keep forgetting this guy's on the roster.
No, that's very true.
You see Damian Lee, you see Bjelica, you see Moody, you see Kuminga quite often. You just don't really see the other guy.
Yeah.
But you see everyone else often. And, like, the Warriors have 7.
Is Chioza still on that team?
He's there. I guess he's not there, but you see him every now and then too.
Yeah, you'll see him occasionally.
You saw him a lot during the regular season, not as much during the playoffs, but
yeah,
I guess he's another guy that would be lower minutes, but he plays more than Weatherspoon.
Yeah.
But they have 17 guys, and I'd say they play 15 of them
regularly,
at least every other game.
Yeah. Okay. Game 4.
Game 4. This is you gotta win or go home for Dallas here, and they decided to win.
I think Golden State wanted to lose this game so they could go to the finals at home.
To be honest, I just don't really think the Warriors had all the effort out there because they just had the series is over.
Yeah. Let's win it at home.
Yeah, or that, I guess. But and also give the young guys a lot of minutes, which we'll talk about in a minute. But Mavs avoided the sweep here, and it was behind a 39-14 game from Luka and a 23-point game from Dorian Finney-Smith, who's a guy who hasn't really done much this series, but he had a good game here.
I mean, you look at this box score that we have here, and it highlights exactly what I was talking about 5 minutes ago.
Exactly, yeah. You have Finney-Smith stepping up with 23. You got Bullock with 18, Brunson 15, Maxey 13, Dinwiddie 10. Like, this team looked like a different team than the first 3 games. Mm-hmm. They were hitting shots. Golden State wasn't. That was the difference in the game. I mean, that's the difference in a lot of games. But, I mean, they just looked like a different team. They were hitting the tough shots, hitting the big shots, and, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Like, this is what I was talking about with, like, the Suns game. When I was doing the Suns-Mavs games, I would see constantly it was either Finney-Smith and Maxey, or Bullock and Finney-Smith, or Bullock and Dinwiddie. It was always 2 or 3 others that were stepping up constantly with like 10+ points. Yeah. And that's what the Warriors have been able to neutralize in the first 3 games.
Yeah. Move on to the Golden State. You only have a 20 from Steph, which it's tough. They played really good defense this game, and Golden State just didn't really shoot well. I mean, you had a really good 17 from Kuminga, who played his first legitimate minutes of the series. Mm-hmm. He hasn't really he's had scrap minutes here and there, but he didn't really have any real minutes, and he played well.
Yeah.
And I mean, you only have 13 from Wiggins and 12 from Clay, a little bit of down night for those 2 guys. 14 from Poole, and I mean, Moses Moody got in. He had 10. Those are solid. A solid performance from Moses Moody. I mean, even losing this game, I think it's really important. It's really good that they are getting these young guys in because
yeah, for sure.
We don't know how long Steph, Clay, and Draymond are going to last. But seeing this young core of like Poole, Moody, Kuminga, Wiggins, and
they've still
potentially
got
Wiseman if he ever decides to play.
yeah. I mean like okay, flight.
No, yeah. His meniscus is there, I guess.
I mean yeah. You look at the Warriors, like you think of this dynasty that they've had for the last 8 years.
Yeah,
And
they have
you-
they have
and
a
you
great
look
now
at-
and a great future.
And you look at okay, you still got the core, Curry, Clay, Draymond, but then
And
you
you're
look
adding all
at
these young guys.
but then you look at the rest of their team, and it's like a bunch of these guys are all still 25 and under.
yeah,
Like and like a lot of them are still
Wiggins is only like 26,
yeah,
27.
and like a lot of guys are and like they're all getting it done still,
yeah,
and it's all homegrown talent. And the Warriors, like even once Steph, Clay, Draymond move on, they've still got all these guys who can
yeah.
who's gonna make them a competitive team for
sure,
the
yeah.
next foreseeable future.
Yeah. The tough thing in this game, and I guess for here on out,
Yeah.
I'll say is no Otto Porter, no Gary Payton. It really hurt them because it's like forcing their lower rotation players like Damian Lee and the Rooks to get in Bielitsa to get more minutes, and that's maybe not what they. Yeah, Steve Kerr has tightened the rotation a lot in the playoffs.
Oh yeah, for sure.
In the regular season, you saw those guys getting regularly. Playoffs, not as much. So you hitting those guys in, it's a little tough. I mean, it was actually pretty close in the fourth quarter. Golden State went up. I mean, Dallas went up big. Golden State got back to 8 late in the fourth, but it was too late. And the bench guys, they were the ones that made the little comeback there, but it wasn't enough. I mean, both teams actually shot pretty well, but Dallas was 10% better from three. It wasn't like Golden State shot bad, just Dallas shot really well. And this is the first game Dallas won the rebound battle, but they only won by 3.
Well, I guess this still counts.
And here's wrapping up the series in San Francisco. Game 5. 120-110 Golden State.
I was gonna say 120 to 10.
Yeah, Golden State wins 4-1. They're finals bound now.
Clay.
We'll see who they're playing in a couple minutes, I guess. But I mean, yeah, 32 from Game 5 Clay.
It's just close out Clay now.
Yeah, and yeah, 18 and 10 from Wiggs. Like Wiggins, he's good.
He is good at the game of basketball.
This is a big one here. You get 17 points, 9 assists, and 6 rebounds from Draymond. 17 points. That's like turning back the clock from 2016.
Bro, 17 points for Draymond is like 35 for anybody else.
Yeah. And yeah, 10 and 18 for Kevon Looney, another guy having a great series.
Kayvon, okay.
You only had 15 from Steph on a poor shooting night, which was 5-17. But I mean, he only had 2 turnovers and 9 assists, 3 steals, and a huge block on Finney Smith. It was a 3-point late in the game that it was like Dallas was having a run there. That block kind of ended the run, and I mean, it's good to see like the thing that Steph does that a lot of stars don't do. I mean, you see Jimmy Butler do it as well. That's another guy I will say does it a lot. You see it occasionally from like guys like KD, Giannis, a lot from LeBron as well. But LeBron doesn't have a ton of off nights. But I mean, Curry's having a bad shooting night. He doesn't necessarily stop shooting because he's the best shooter ever.
Yeah, he's still Curry.
He's still Steph Curry, but I mean,
He'll just go and get you 9 assists.
he has his 9 assists, 3 steals, and a block with only 2 turnovers, which he just says, okay, if I'm not going to score, I'm going to set the other guys up.
Yeah.
And that's what Curry does. Like, he's one of the most unselfish stars ever.
Superstars.
Yeah.
Superstars.
Or just stars.
Yeah, but he's a superstar.
Yeah, but
he's
you
not
don't-
a star. Don't even.
it's
Hey, you're just disrespecting the name now.
But stars include superstars and stars.
No. Stars are just stars, and then there's superstars. It's like 2 different levels. No. Yes, it's 2 different levels.
All right, moving on. Okay, yeah, also got 16 from Jordan Poole, another guy. I mean, he looks so good in that the first half of that Denver series, but he's kind of settled down a little bit. But he's just been good the rest of the series, the rest of the
he's
playoffs.
been solid for them.
I mean, 28 and 9 from Luka. He struggled a lot in the first half, but in the second half, around the time when Dallas started making their runs, he started playing really well, and he had the majority of his points there in the second half. You had 13 from Finney Smith and 10 from Brunson. You kind of want you want those guys to do a little more. I mean, you got 26 from Dinwiddie off the bench. That guy's been so good since they traded for him.
Yeah, Dinwiddie has been really good. It's just been a better fit for how Jason Kidd wants to use his roster than Porzingis.
Yeah. I mean, the game was actually really close in the first quarter and a half, but then in about halfway through the second, Golden State just started taking off, and they had 25-point lead in the third quarter, but Dallas ended the third with a run, making an 8-point game again. But Golden State held a double-digit lead the rest of the game, and they shot 6% better, but dominated the boards once again.
Once again.
51-34. Yeah, some final takes on the series here. I mean, Golden State just outplayed Dallas overall. They just showed their experience. And
Golden State's just a better team than Dallas.
They are the best team in the West this year.
Yeah.
Regular season was looking like Phoenix, but come playoff time, Golden State showed that they've been here before and they don't want to leave.
Still, I would have loved to see a Golden State versus Phoenix series.
That would have been a fun series, yeah. I mean, Steph Curry had 23.8 points per game, 7.4 assists, and 6.6 rebounds, earning himself the first ever Magic Johnson Award. I think it's well deserved. I think you gotta give some props to Clay having his 18.6, Wiggins with his 18.6 and 7.2, and definitely Looney with 10.6, 10.6.
That's what I'm saying, bro. Kayvon with the double-double.
I mean, when you have those four stat lines all there, like that's good.
Yeah, that's good.
That's so good. Like I think Steph deserved the award. He's the best player on this team, but the supporting cast here was really good too.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Golden State, like I said, they were just good overall. Everyone played well. There wasn't really a player you look into, man, they had a bad series. No one had that. And you haven't really seen that at all in the playoffs.
No, not.
That's what's made the difference between them and the other teams.
Well,
they
like
have everyone playing well.
You like obviously you've seen like a few bad games from guys, but that's you're
like a bad
gonna
game
see.
here or there, but like
Everyone's
clicking.
playing their part.
Like you look back to see the playoffs. You see like when they played Memphis, Desmond Bain didn't have a great series. When they played Denver, Aaron Gordon didn't have a great series, and they were hurt, and they had a couple guys hurt. Here, like Brunson didn't have a great series.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I mean, like Luka was pretty amazing this series.
Luka, baby.
He averaged 32 a game. I mean, Dallas. I think if they get a couple more pieces this offseason and the next offseason.
Yeah, maybe if they use their best player as well.
What do you mean, Luka? Oh, Boban.
Boban.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
They don't use their best player. Like, come on. They didn't even give him garbage minutes. They just don't give him minutes.
I think they just need a couple more pieces, and they could be a serious contender.
Boban to the Raptors, confirmed.
They were a serious contender this year, but a couple more pieces, and they're someone that to look out for in the future for sure.
Yeah, they definitely looked better than I thought they were as a team. Like after going deep diving into some of their series.
Yeah. I mean, Klay Thompson's now been in 6 straight finals. He's six straight finals. 6 years straight he's played and he's made the finals. And Iguodala's been to 7 total now in his career, tied 14th ever for most finals appearances.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he got his is it 6 now in Golden State? Or?
Yeah, he would be 6 now in Golden State.
And he was in Miami.
Yeah, that makes 7.
Yeah, makes 7.
6 plus 1 is 7.
I mean, we're returned to the finals for the first time since 2019, and having countless injuries the last few years. It's good to see him back from a Warriors fan.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people don't like it, but I do. Wiggins definitely shut up some haters here.
Wiggins.
I mean, he's had a good playoff overall, but this series he was really, really good.
He took it a little bit more of a step this.
I mean, having no
series.
GP2, definitely you saw some results of that in the series, and losing Otto really hurt the Warriors in Game 4. But I mean, it is what it is. But the Warriors stepped up, and Dallas showed their lack of experience. But they had an amazing run this year. No denying that.
Mm-hmm.
No one expected them to make this far. I don't think.
No one expected them to get past Phoenix.
No one did. I mean, the Warriors look good. They look finals ready. I think it's gonna be a tough matchup. Whoever they end up playing.
I mean, yeah, you got 2 good defensive teams in the East.
And you got a top 3 defensive team and a top 3 offensive team out here in the West.
Yeah, well, I think that'll send us over to the East.
I mean, Golden State. Just a couple final points here. Golden State, they just showed how much battle tested they are, and I mean, the average plus minus of the game was +9, but the total plus minus was +44 for Golden State.
Ugh.
And I mean, yeah, let's see who they're gonna play and see what they can do here.
All right, moving over to the right coast, we have the Eastern Conference Finals. Like I said, 2 top defensive teams going at it: the Heat and the Celtics. We head into Miami for game numero uno, where we got a few injuries. Kyle Lowry does not play, hamstring. Marcus Smart does not play the first game with a foot sprain, and Horford misses game 1 with COVID protocols. So
seemed like there's a lot of fouls. Not a lot of fouls, a lot of injuries in this series.
yeah, this was a injury-riddled series. Miami took game 118-107. The Celtics led for most of the first half, and then Jimmy G buckets and the Heat went on a 22-2 run to start the third quarter and to seal the game. Boston shot 2 of 15 in that third quarter, and they got outscored 39-14. Eek. Jimmy Butler, you're going to hear a lot of his name this series, man.
Sure.
41 points, 27 of them in the second half, and 17 of those 27 in the third quarter,
Wow.
with 9 rebounds, 5 assists, and 4 steals, and 3 block shots.
Yeah.
So just an all-around game, and he was extremely physical this game. 18 free throws. You're going to see that a lot. He took a lot of free throws this series. He was really driving at Boston and getting those foul calls. Vincent had 17. Hero had 18, shooting better than his last series and off the bench. And then for Boston, Tatum, 29 points, 8 rebounds, 6 assists, and 4 steals.
Wow, but he got
Can't
7.
fault that, but 7 turnovers.
That's tough.
Eek. And then Jaylen Brown, 24 points and 10 rebounds. Robert Williams, 18 and 9 rebounds, starting in place of Horford. And Pritchard at 18 off the bench. But you can see the losses of Smart and Horford hurting Boston this game as they lose game 1. We move over to game number 2, and Boston responds. Kyle Lowry once again not in the lineup with the hamstring, but Marcus Smart and Horford are back, and it shows. They win 127-102, a 25-point blowout. Eek. Miami led for most of the first quarter, but then Boston just took off after that.
Yeah.
A 17-0 run throughout the end of the first and through the second quarter. I mean, Celtics outshot Miami 20-10
Wow.
from 3, 20% better, and they shot 7% better from the field. I mean, rebounds were similar, only separated by 1, but Miami had 5 more turnovers than Boston. And then you just see the all-around domination for Boston. I mean, Tatum with 27, Brown 24, Smart 24. They combined for 75
Wow.
points.
Nice.
And Smart also with 12 rebounds and 9 assists to go with his 24. I mean, Horford had 10 on 4 of 4 shooting. Grant Williams had 19 off the bench, and Pritchard had 10 off the bench. So, I mean, all-around domination for Boston this game. For Miami, the Heat starters, Butler had 29, and Vincent had 14. And that was it for scoring off the starters. And then off the bench, 11 for Hero, and 14 for Oladipo, but he did not shoot well.
Yeah.
But, I mean, just kind of all-around domination for Boston. This game, we go over back to Boston for game number 3, and Miami takes it. So
Yeah.
they kind of take back their home court advantage. 109-103, they win. Robert Williams does not play this game with some knee soreness. He bruised his knee, I believe, during the end of the season, and he's been kind of playing through it, but he could not play through this game. And this was the game of injuries. Jimmy Butler left at halftime with knee swelling and did not return.
Yeah, that hurts.
PJ Tucker played through a sore knee. And then for Boston, Marcus Smart left in the third quarter with a sprained ankle, but he did return, and he got a standing ovation. That was a cool little clip to watch. And Tatum left in the fourth quarter with shoulder soreness, but he also returned. And then for this game, Boston never led, and they did trail as many as 26 points. So you mentioned earlier with the playoffs of blowouts or big leads, like you've already seen it twice, and this is 3 games in this series. Like I said, Miami led big for most of the game, but Boston actually got within 1 point with 2 minutes left, but they could not get closer than that. Boston had 24 turnovers compared to Miami's 9.
That's huge.
That is an amazing amount of turnovers.
Catastrophic.
That is down terrible. Down atrocious. Oh, my God. 24 turnovers. Jeez.
Jeez Louise, eh?
Jeez Louise. But Boston did win the rebound battle. To kind of expect they're a little bit of a bigger team. The Heat were more physical, and they shot 16 more free throws than the Celtics.
Wow.
I feel like Miami just kind of shot more free throws throughout the whole series. They were kind of going at Boston's defense a little more. For the Heat, Tucker had 17. Bam Bam, 31 and 10. Kyle Lowry was back, and he had 11 points. So, I mean, first game back in a while. At least he got into double figures. and Max Strus had 16 for Boston, or for Miami. For the Celtics, Jaylen Brown goes off, 40 points, 9 rebounds, but not enough to get him over the hump, and he had 7 turnovers. Jeez. Jason
Yeah.
Tatum had a tough game, 10 points and 6 turnovers.
It seemed like this playoff, Tatum's had like 2 unbelievable games, then 1 bad game.
Yeah, that's kind of how it's been. Tatum's had like 1 bad game each series.
Yeah, 1 or 2 at least.
Yeah, and then Horford had 20 points, 14 rebounds, and Smart had 16. So you kind of look at it and you're like, how did Boston lose this game? Like you got Smart with 16, Horford with 20, Brown with 40, Jason Tatum. That's it, and the turnovers as well. The turnovers was bad. We go into game number 4. Boston coming back hot. They tie the series 2-2, and they absolutely blow out Miami 102-82. Stop it, man. Stop making these facial expressions. As we said, that game 3 was a game of injuries. Game 4 was where it showed. Tyler Hero does not play with the groin injury. Marcus Smart does not play with the ankle bugging up. Again, I mean, it was the foot in the first game, and now it's the ankle. So I mean, it's just kind of all around there, messed up for him. And Boston takes back the home court. No, they didn't take back the home court, but they
tied up the series.
They tied up the series. So each game is 1-1 at home.
They split both home courts.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to say. But Boston, man, they went on a 26-4 run to start the game and never looked back.
Yeah.
And part of why they went on such big of a run, Miami missed 15 of its first 16 shots. And that's kind of how Miami lost a lot of their games this series, was really bad starts, and they were just never able to come back over the hump. The Celtics only made 1 more field goal than Miami, which is weird in a 20-point game, and the Heat made 6 more three-pointers. But this is the big difference here. Boston went 32 of 38 from the free throw line compared to Miami's 8 of 14.
Wow.
That is unbelievable.
Yeah.
I don't like both teams shot poorly this game. Like I don't even know like if it was I didn't get to watch this game, so I don't know if it was bad reffing or it was just Miami just had horrible fouls, like just dumb fouls. So I mean, yeah, it was. I don't even know how you let a team shoot that many more free throws than you.
I mean, hasn't Harden shot like that many in a game before?
Okay, but that's Harden. Back when
Beard in the beard.
back when he was able to draw as many fouls as he wanted to.
Yeah, fair enough. Back when he was good.
Both teams had pretty low amounts of turnovers,
Yeah.
so good for Boston after that tough turnover game last time. The only Heat players in double digits were 23 from Oladipo, 12 from Cody Martin, and 14 from Duncan Robinson, all off the bench.
Yeah.
And for the starters, they combined for 18 points, and it is the lowest total points for starters in a playoff game since starters were first tracked beginning in 1970-1971 season.
That's crazy.
18 points is what the starters combined for.
That's crazy.
One of the guys in the starting lineup that struggled, Max Strus, 0 of 7 and 0 of 4 from 3.
Yeah, no, he's been a guy that's up a lot this playoff, but I mean,
He struggled shooting this series.
for a guy like Max Strus, like you can't expect him to be like what he's been at every game.
No, but you also wouldn't like him to go 0 of 7 from the floor.
Fair enough.
You'll hear a a fun stat about this after the next game.
Yeah.
For the Celtics, Tatum with a rebound game, 31 points, 8 rebounds. Robert Williams had 12 in his game back off the knee soreness. Jaylen Brown also had 12. Derek White had 13. But both Brown and White shot poorly. And Pritchard had 14 off the bench. So, I mean, solid scoring all around for Boston. It was just kind of the starters did nothing for Miami this game.
Yeah, fair enough.
And then we head into Game 5. We go back to Miami, back down to South Beach. And the Celtics take Game 5, 93-80.
Yeah, it's a low-scoring game.
Miami misses Tyler Hero again with the groin injury. I mean, several Heat players were banged up and were
Yeah.
questionable for this game, but they all played. I mean, Jimmy Butler played through his knee injury. I know PJ Tucker was playing through injury. Kyle Lowry playing through injury. I mean, it's Miami got banged up this series.
Yeah, for sure.
But I mean, it was a super back and forth game actually until with about 2 minutes 30 seconds left in the third, when Boston went on a 24-2 run and put the game out of reach. This series was a series of runs. Every single game had big runs to put a team up or to take a team out of a game.
I think at the end of the day, basketball is a game of runs.
Yeah, that's
this
fair.
Series was.
This series really showed it, yeah. But I mean, Boston shot 14% better from the field and 15% better from three, while kind of having similar turnovers. So that I guess that game 3 was just kind of an anomaly for Boston. For Boston, I mean, Tatum 22, 12 rebounds, 9 assists on really poor shooting, and more turnovers, 5 turnovers for him. Horford had a solid 16. Jaylen Brown with 25. He's played well this series, huh?
Yeah.
And White had 14 off the bench. Man, what is with this team and just their last names being colors? You got Brown, you got White. Like, come on. And then Jimmy Butler had 13 points on atrocious shooting.
Can't really have that.
Bam, 18 and 10. Vincent had 13 off the bench. And Duncan Robinson had 11 off the bench. He's kind of been playing more minutes with Tyler Hero out. And this was the stat I was talking about. Max Strus combined to shoot 0 of 15 and 0 of 12 from 3 this game. And they combined to make 1 shot over the last 2 games.
Yeah, that's not fun.
That is not what you want from your starting backcourt. But we go on to game number 6. Heat's got their back against the wall. We are in Boston. Boston's thinking, oh, we're going to take it home. We are on our home court. No. I'll tell you why. No. Jimmy Butler.
Jimmy G buckets.
111-103. Miami wins. Once again, Tyler Hero misses this game. 3rd game in a row. This was actually the first game in the series where a team lost the lead in the 4th quarter.
Wow.
So, I mean, if you're up after 3, you're going to win. That's how this series has been going. And, I mean, it was extremely back and forth game. Like, a bunch of different lead changes. It was, like, the most back and forth game we've seen. But that's all thanks to Jimmy Butler. And Miami pulled it out. And guess what Jimmy Butler did? He went LeBron in 2012 mode against Boston in Game 6. He drops it, man. 47 points, 9 rebounds, 8 assists, and 4 steals on 16 of 29 and 4 of 8 from 3.
Should I steal your catchphrase here?
Mama, there goes that man. He was shooting that thing, man. And he played 46 minutes. Oh, and by the way, that's a playoff career high.
Oh, yeah.
Just casually.
Just light work.
Just light work for Jimmy.
Jimmy G.
This guy's been going off these playoffs, man.
The G stands for Gets.
Mama, there goes that man. Lowry and Strus have better games, but they both fell out late in the 4th quarter. Lowry had 18 and 10 assists, and Max Strus had 13, so much better.
Yeah.
PJ Tucker also had 11, which is kind of like he's kind of like Draymond with his numbers. Like, you see him get over 10, and you're like, that's a good game.
Yeah.
And then Bam had only 6 points, but
Yeah.
I mean, he took 6 shots. Jimmy Butler's getting all the shots. I mean, for Boston, nobody really to fault. Jason Tatum had 30 points and 9 rebounds. Once again,
7 turnovers.
7 turnover game.
Wow.
Including multiple costly turnovers at the end of the game in the 4th quarter. Jaylen Brown also fouled out late in the game. He had 20. Marcus Smart had 14 on okay shooting. I mean, off the bench, White had 22 points, 11 of them in the 4th quarter. He had a few big 3-pointers to take the lead and to bring the game closer. But, I mean, the team stats were mostly all similar, except Miami shot just under 10% better from 3. Like, everything was similar, like rebounds, field goal percentage, points in paint, turnovers. It was all, like, a really similar game, and Jimmy Butler just kind of pulled it out of the water.
Yeah. Right before this game, this game went down right after the day after Golden State won Game 5, and Draymond Green said, "Oh, we're gonna be playing Boston," and
Haslam had a little bit to say about that.
And so did PJ.
Really? I
Yeah.
didn't hear PJ.
Everyone was saying that Draymond was saying that to light a fire under Miami so they could have more days off.
Yeah. Yeah. Udonis Haslam turned to the broadcast booth after
Tell
the win.
Draymond Green,
He
thank
said,
you.
"Tell Draymond Green, thank you."
PJ said the exact same thing.
And we move into Game 7. Boston has not lost back-to-back games in these playoffs, and they have gone 13-1 after a loss. Is this their first loss in the playoffs? No. 100-96, Celtics win. Moving on to the NBA Finals.
What's that? The first time since the Garnett days?
Yeah, first time
First time since they lost to Kobe, or
Yeah, it's first time since 2010 that they
Yeah.
made the finals. Tyler Hero returns from injury, but he only played 7 minutes, so he didn't really play. He played 7 minutes first half, 0 of 2 from the field. So, I mean, he still didn't look right out there. I think he just wanted to play to at least try to give something for his team.
Yeah.
I mean, Miami was down by as many as 17 in the first half, but they actually got within 6 at halftime after an 11-2 run, but they were just kind of constantly chasing Boston in the second half. I mean, they got within 2 after a 9-0 run with 30 seconds left, but this is the shot we've been talking about. And I want to deep dive in a little bit more after I get through all of this stuff from the game. Jimmy Butler missed a transition 3 to take the lead, and Boston held on.
it's not a good shot.
I wanna deep dive with you after I go through this. Miami never led, while Boston held their stifling defense throughout the entire game. Miami's defense was extremely inconsistent. You could see it like when they'd go on their run to get close, and their defense would just fall apart, and they'd be leaving guys wide open for 3. They would have easy buckets in the paint, and it was hard to watch. And
Yeah.
I watched like pretty much this whole game, and if I was Miami, I would be happy at halftime if I'm only down 6 because they looked really bad in the first half.
Yeah.
And you'd think maybe they'd be able to continue going, but it was just they were just constantly chasing the whole game. I mean, they struggled from 3, only shooting 20% to Boston's 34%. And then this was also another big thing. A Max Strus 3-pointer in the third quarter got overturned as his heel stepped out of bounds. No, it didn't.
No.
And it proved costly as Miami was only down 2 before they had to start intentionally fouling. So, I mean, that 3-pointer was extremely costly. And it could have cost Miami the game. You don't know how that would have went if it happened.
Yeah.
Jason Tatum had 26 on okay shooting, but he also had 10 rebounds and 6 assists. Horford only 5 points, but 14 rebounds for him. And Smart and Brown both had 24, but Brown shot significantly better from the field. And then for Miami, Jimmy Butler played the entire game.
Yeah, I mean, you got to.
And had 35 points and 9 rebounds. Bam had 25 and 11.
That's
and
his
Lowry,
first. That's like his first All-Star game he's had this playoff. I feel like.
Bam?
Yeah.
Bam had a 31-point game in one of these games.
Oh right.
You're not paying attention?
I am.
You're not paying attention to my monologue?
I'm just slow.
And Lowry had 15. Okay, Jimmy Butler. I was looking at his stats, and I was like, okay. And I watched a Flight Reacts video, so I saw the highlights again. No. It's nothing to do with Flight. But I saw the highlights again, and I was like, okay. He had 35 points, but he had 24 in the first half.
Yeah.
So he only had 11 in the second half. And
So
he was not, like, I barely saw him in the highlights, so he wasn't shooting well. And he did not score in the last 5 minutes of the game.
No, and then that shot.
That shot.
I know your point of view that it's not a horrible play.
But I was thinking he had it going in the second half.
He did not.
He did not have it going in the second half.
And
I fully agree. Take it to the basket.
Take it to the hoop. Even if it's Al Horford, draw a foul. Jimmy Butler's a good free throw shooter.
Mm-hmm.
Or dribble it out. Let you set up your offense.
I don't
Call timeout.
I don't like that because I don't like the idea of Boston setting up their defense.
But you had one of the best shot blockers left in the playoffs that you could drive on. And Al Horford.
Al Horford?
He's one of the best shot blockers left in the playoffs.
I still like the idea, even if say
Or
Jimmy Butler,
go for a midi, go for a floater, something like that.
I say even Jimmy Butler drives, you could see Jaylen Brown was kind of starting to help off.
And then Strus would have been open in the corner.
Strus would have been wide open in the corner. So I mean, maybe drive and kick or drive go for a layup, but I don't like that. After seeing it again, I don't like that shot.
If you was a set shot, do that all day. But the way he was moving, he was at a full sprint and he just stopped and popped.
Yeah.
I was watching the game. What the announcer said was, that is the worst part of his game.
He is not a 3-point shooter.
That is, like, by far the worst part of his game. Why is that the shot you're taking to end the season on the line?
And then they also
You
said
could-
they also said you make that shot, you're a hero.
You
But
the
you
shot,
miss
you're here,
it,
and you're like
you're the reason they lost.
you're laughing stock. You know?
Yeah.
Like, personally, tie the game, go to OT. At that point you would be on an 11-0 run.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I think it's time to go on to these final takes.
Yeah, these final takes. I said Tyler Hero would be the difference maker in this series.
Yeah, you were right.
And in the 4 games that he didn't play, I mean, he didn't really play Game 7, so I'm saying the 4 games he didn't play. Miami went 1-3. Tyler Hero would be the difference maker in this game, or in this series. And the fact that he got injured really hurt Miami's spacing and their shooting. And I mean, for Jimmy Butler, I mean, besides the 2 games where his knee was obviously bothering him and he only played 20 and 27 minutes, Jimmy Butler averaged 33 points per game on 51 shooting from the field, including multiple 40-point games and a 35-point game.
Yeah.
I mean, he went off this series. He did his thing. I mean, Bam was extremely inconsistent this series. He only averaged 15 points per game and 8.4 rebounds. And I mean, Miami just could not handle Boston's outstanding defense throughout a 7-game span. You're fine playing it for 1 or 2 games, but you have to play that same defense 7 games.
Oh, for sure.
It's tough to get stuff out of it. And I mean, Boston just got more contribution from their others than Miami did.
Yeah.
Miami, like you saw with Dallas, it was extremely inconsistent from the others.
Yeah, for sure.
Whereas Boston constantly had 3 or 4 guys in double figures when they were winning, and they had more guys like doing more stuff for them off the bench and some of their other starters. And then you look at Boston, I mean, Jason Tatum wins first ever Larry Bird Award, averaging 25 points per game, 8.3 rebounds, and 5.6 assists on 47% from the field and 36% from 3. He really only had 1 bad game in the series. He had a lot of turnovers. Yeah. Turnovers would be something to look at for the series against Golden State. But, I mean, he really only had 1 bad game this series. Jaylen Brown played extremely well this series as well. 24 points per game on 48% and 38% from 3, including a 40-piece.
Oh, yeah.
And the point differential for this series was plus 37 for Boston, as they had multiple 20-plus point wins in the series. That's why I would have been excited if Miami won to share that stat, because Boston would have been up so many, in the point differential. So that would have been cool to see. But, I mean, Boston, in the games they won, they won.
And they definitely proved themselves, yeah.
Oh, yeah. They proved themselves these playoffs. I mean, they beat 3 teams that had high championship odds, and they beat the teams that beat them in the last 3 years.
That's funny.
That was a funny stat. And as we said, last time Boston made the finals was 2010. They lost in 7 games to the Lakers.
Yeah. I think we move on to right here to a quick NBA Finals preview, and then some quick conference finals awards, and then we'll wrap up here.
Then we'll wrap it up. You got the
I got the preview here real quick. So Warriors Celtics should be fun. The season series, they played twice, split it 1-1. I mean, Curry only averaged 16.5 against them, but he got his ankle stepped on by Marcus Smart in one of the games, and they left early on through 14 minutes. So
Sorry,
his point.
I'm just gonna say something. I hate when people split a 2-game series. It's like, what did you gain out of that? It's like, come on.
Yeah, fair enough. But yeah, so Curry went out, so in the one they lost. So if he was there, maybe it's different, and maybe his points are up. So well, obviously his points would be up.
Obviously.
Jordan Poole only played in one of the games, but in the one he played, he had 29 points, and I think he's definitely a key player in the series. They need all their guys clicking, because with Boston's defense, they need just, if they have Tatum and Smart or whatever, focusing on, say, Curry, Clay or whatever, you need Wiggins and Poole to play well. You need, multiple guys to be able to step up when the defense goes to them, so the other guys can maybe get some attention off them as well.
Yes, for sure.
I mean, Clay also only played in one of the games, and he had 18, which I think the big thing for Clay in this series is to stay efficient. You continue your 15 to 20 points, but
don't shoot 25%.
No. I mean, Wiggins only played in one of them, and he had 27 in that game, which he's definitely a player. If he needs to play like he played in the Dallas series in this series, he needs to step up huge.
Yeah.
his first his first finals of his career. Him and Poole. Let's see what they got. I mean, Draymond struggled, but he had minute restrictions in one of the two games.
He was just coming
because
back from
he came
injury.
back from his injury later in the year, and it was around the time, and then Steph went out of that game as well. So it was tough, but yeah, like he's a key player. He needs to just contribute well, like all over.
It would be nice to see him keep averaging that like 9.5 points per game that you've been seeing throughout the playoffs.
Tatum, he averaged 26.5 and played in both games. But the big thing for him is he can't have that bad game this series.
And he has to limit the turnovers.
If he has that bad game and Draymond's ego gets up there, when Draymond's ego gets up there, the whole team's ego gets up there. Like when Draymond's running around screaming and flexing,
You're
it's
done.
over. It's over.
You're done.
The game is over. You can't have Draymond getting up there, getting hype, because then the whole team gets hype and they're not looking back.
Oh yeah.
Jaylen Brown averaged 23. He played well. He's a player. He's been playing well. So just keep doing it.
He's been doing well these playoffs.
Keep doing it. But as a Golden State fan, I want you to average 2 games. So I mean, Marcus Smart, he averaged 19.5 in those 2 games, which is really good for him. And I mean, the way he's been playing, it's looking good.
He's been really up and down.
Yeah,
these playoffs.
he needs to stay up for them to win.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Grant Williams only had 5 in the game he played, but he's stepped up a lot in the second half of the year.
Yeah, he's looked much better
He's looked a lot better, but
than he did during the season.
You need better than that for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Neither Horford or Robert Williams were able to do anything against Golden State. Maybe it's because Golden State's they run that small ball and just kind of run circles.
Yeah,
and neither of those guys are great on the perimeter defensively.
Yeah, actually,
so if Draymond just sticks out the perimeter, then they just slash, shoot.
I want to key in on Boston's big guys, because you see Golden State, they've got a much smaller lineup, and you've seen how, like, you look at all the way back at the Mavs Jazz series, Rudy Gobert wasn't able to do anything.
The difference here, though, is if say Rudy Gobert is with Boston, he doesn't have to leave the paint because there's some elite defenders on the
That's
perimeter.
very true. That's very true.
If Rudy Gobert is on a team like Boston where he doesn't have to leave the paint, he is a defensive player of the year, I'd say again.
Yeah, that's very true.
It's just he gets exposed. The sad truth is his team is that makes him look worse.
Yeah. Okay.
Not having any other defenders, he is the only guy.
Okay.
He has to step up.
This point is not about Rudy Gobert. I just want to see how Robert Williams and Al Horford, two shot blockers, will be able to react to a small ball team.
Yeah.
That's the only point.
I want to see how Kevon Looney does against the 2 big guys that are really good rebounders.
See how he does rebounding wise, because he dominated the boards
against all the other teams.
Against Mavs.
I mean, he dominated the boards against like everyone really. He's rebounding over Jokic. He's rebounding over Jaren Jackson and Adams. Like, We'll see. I heard Gary Payton. It's potential. It's gonna be a game time decision tonight for Game 1, and there's hope for Otto Porter to return the series, which I think getting those 2 guys back will be huge for Golden State.
It'll help their defense.
Help their defense and offense.
And their depth.
For sure, yeah. I think the big question is, will Golden State be able to adapt to Boston's defense throughout this series and just be able to keep going? Because I think the biggest thing is Golden State needs their guys that are so obviously their defense is gonna be focused on like Steph.
Mm-hmm.
They need the other guys to match whatever Boston's doing.
That's for sure.
So if Tatum has 28, you need 28 from Clay, or Poole, or Wiggins, or whatever, and then you need the other guys to match Jaylen Brown. And then if you have another guy, he needs to play well to give your team that edge over the rest of the roster.
It's very true.
So that's all we got for a preview here. So I think we move on to just some quick conference finals awards, and then we'll.
First of all, how do you feel about this series? Who do you got?
I got Golden State in 6 or 7.
You got your Warriors?
Yeah, I don't see the series going quicker than 6.
No, not even. I would be astonished.
The only way I see that is if
there's a big injury.
Only way I see it, I think both teams will win their first 2 home games. Only way I see it going less than 6 is if one of the teams wins one of the other home games. Because I don't see Golden State losing in Chase Center, personally.
That's fair.
In the finals, that place gets loud.
I like Boston. I like them in 7 just because watching how their defense affected Miami. I know Miami doesn't have the same kind of offense.
And Miami's hurt.
As Golden State.
They've played a lot of injured teams.
That's true.
They played Milwaukee without Middleton.
Brooklyn without Ben.
Brooklyn without Ben Simmons. They played in a struggling KD and Kyrie.
Mm-hmm.
they played Miami with Harrow injured and a bunch of guys.
Okay, but
Not
they
playing
did
much.
what they were supposed to do.
Yeah.
They beat the injured teams. I
They
would love.
They went to 7 twice.
I want to see how how Golden State's able to react to Boston's defense.
Yeah, true.
And if it's able to slow them down, or if they're able to make the adjustment, and be able to lock down guys like Derek White, like Marcus Smart, like Grant Williams, to stop them from exploding for 20-point games.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, let's get into some awards. Let's kick it off. MVP. Who
MVP. I got Jason Tatum. We already know his stats: 25 points per game, 8.3 rebounds, 5.6 assists.
Good shooting.
A lot of turnovers, but I mean, good shooting from the floor. He was
had
really consistent. The one tough game where he got injured in the fourth quarter.
Larry Bird Award.
And the first ever Larry Bird Award.
Fair? Fair enough. I got Steph Curry. I mean, he had that. He had a couple lower scoring games in the series, but he also had some higher scoring games, evening it out for like around 23.8 points per game, 7.4 assists, and 6.6 rebounds, earning himself first ever Magic Johnson Award. And I think his 31 in Game 3 was a really underrated performance.
Because it matched Luka's 42.
Yeah, and also if they lose that game, it's a series.
That's very true.
It solidified that series there, and he had the 11 assists to go with it.
Okay. Next up, best individual game, best performance in one game. Mine's going to Jimmy G Buckets in Game 6 versus Boston.
Fair enough, yeah.
47, 9 rebounds, 8 assists, 4 steals on outstanding shooting, even 50% from 3, while playing 46 minutes.
Yeah, that's
and
a good
he kept Miami in the series for another game while playing in Boston. I mean, a team that's been struggling to score. Jimmy Butler said, "I got this."
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So my game is Steph Curry Game 2. I know I was talking high on Curry's Game 1, but this Game 2 he had 32, 8, and 5 with 6 threes on 60% from 3. And he led Golden State past Luka's 42, which I think if that's stopping Dallas and winning one in Golden State, which would have been huge to start the series.
Yeah. The Jerry West Award,
Best
you know what it
losing.
is. Best player on losing team.
You don't know who you know the two players.
The two most obvious options,
Jimmy
G Buckets
and Luka Doncic.
Luka Doncic. I mean, besides from the two games where he only played 20 minutes and 27 minutes, Jimmy Butler, 33 points per game, 7.3 rebounds, 4.2 assists, and 2.4 steals per game on 51% from the field and multiple 40-point games. I mean, the guy just had it going this series, and he pretty much got whatever he wanted.
Yeah. I'd say other than Game 1, it's pretty similar for Luka. He averaged 32, 9, 6. So, like, he did everything he could. He left his heart on the floor.
Mm-hmm.
He's been so good in the playoffs every year of his career.
He has been. He's just been dominant all playoffs.
Thinking of, like, him in the playoffs, I look back at his first playoff series against the Clippers. He had that game winner there.
Bang,
in the bubble.
He got a double bang from Mike Breen.
That's rare.
That is very rare. And then our last award, best moment.
Best moment.
I had a little trouble because you took the obvious one. I had a little trouble with this one, but I went with Jimmy Butler's turnaround jumper to beat the shot clock with 45 seconds left in the game. In Game 6, to score his 45th point of 47, and it sealed the game. I mean, it just kind of showed how dominant he was. I mean, smothered shot, late in the shot clock, turnaround jumper, just outside the 3-point line, or just inside the 3-point line, and he got it. And
I mean,
he was just dominant all game.
I think you guys already know what my moment is.
I mean, it's the most obvious one.
It's Maple Mamba, not Maple Mamba.
Maple Jordan.
That's RJ. Never mind. Maple Jordan, the dunk of the year, Wiggins of Andrew. Andrew Wiggins poster on Luka. I think it's the dunk of the year. I don't know about you.
I like that. That's
both
up there.
Situation and just the dunk itself. It was pretty crazy. Because out of nowhere, he just turned a corner and just boom.
Yeah.
Like, oh man, that's crazy.
Yeah. Well, that's gonna
wrap up here.
Today's ep. A little longer ep. We really got in depth on those series, on those two series. But I mean,
I think it was good conversations.
Good convos, fun ep.
See you guys in the finals.
Yeah, peace out. We got Game 1 coming tomorrow for you guys. Game 1's going on tonight. We're gonna go in ep after each game.
At least try to.
As much as we can.
Yeah.
And peace out.
Peace.